Williams dragged his foot as he walked. The bloody bandages he had himself wrapped up in clung to his sweaty forehead. His black hair hung out from under the bandages. His best friend Robert Fulton wore khaki shorts and a striped shirt rolled up at the elbows. His safari hat was cocked to one side. Laughter filled the night. There were also screams as well. A blue jack-o'-lantern leered at both boys as they climbed up the stairs. The light on the porch was not very bright. It seemed a bit dim to Zeke. Robert reached out a hand and rang the doorbell. Robert clenched the pillowcase in his fist, waiting for the familiar form of Mrs. White to appear in the doorway. She had a thin build, with long arms and legs, and a pointy turn down the nose. "Do you think she'll have that old lady candy, as usual?" Robert asked. Zeke nodded. "Most likely." Robert's eyebrows raised. "So why do we bother coming to Mrs. White's house?" "She was my mom's piano teacher as a kid," Zeke explained. "She's been alone for a long time, and she enjoys seeing our costumes." "Seems she's taking a long time answering the door," Robert said, growing impatient. He began spinning, his pillowcase in his hand. Zeke rang the doorbell. She probably just didn't hear the bell. They waited a while before heading to the next house. "Well, come back later," stated Zeke. "Way later," responded Robert, rolling his eyes. The yellow moon hung overhead in the sky. Orange lights hung from the rooftops of a few houses. One house, in particular, caught Zeke and Robert's eyes. Fog spilled over plastic tombstones, while canned screams, thunder, and lighting. And witches cackling sounded over the speakers. Purple lights illuminated the pathway for the trick-or-treaters. A man in a blood-splattered trench coat passed out candy. His green eyes fell upon Zeke and Robert, his lips curled back over his teeth, causing an unnatural wolf-like smile to form on the man's face. "Evening, boys," said the man. "Trick or treat," Zeke replied. "Ditto," answered Robert. "Pretty nice setup you've got here," Zeke said. "No fooling," replied Robert, eyeing the candy. Taking notice of this, the man said, "I got good treats. None of those old lady candies here." "Did you recently move in?" Zeke asked. "This is Ben Taylor's house. Robert and I have never seen you here before." Robert and Zeke studied the man's face. He was a strong-jawed fella, with a dark suntan. He looked like a 1970s-era movie star. There was something in his eyes, body language, and face that suggested an underlying propensity for violence. "My name is Morgan, and I am Ben's brother. I am house-sitting for Ben while he is away for a few days," the man said. Then he reached into the candy dish and gave each boy a piece of sugary delight. His green eyes focused on each boy. Suddenly, Morgan began to growl. It started low at first. Zeke leaned in for a closer listen. "Is he growling?" Zeke wondered to himself. "Happy Halloween," Morgan said.